much. I am really, truly excited to be here. And I love being able to say that because last year I wanted to be excited to be here. I wanted to share this message of hope. I knew that so many people were struggling with their weight. I knew exactly what it felt like. I knew what it was like to be morbidly obese. And I wanted to be excited to be here, but I wasn't really actually excited because I had gone through this crazy journey. I was on extreme weight loss on ABC, and I had gone from 355 pounds, and I lost 207 pounds in 1 year. It was 58.3% of my body, which was the highest amount of weight loss in reality television history. I mean, that sounds like a celebration. But I had this internal struggle because I had lost a ton of weight. But the journey that I went to get there wasn't everything that they showed on TV. Something that Harley said that really resonated with me was watching reality television is like watching a movie without seeing the ending. Well, that's true because one of the reasons is there is no ending. The show ends in this big final reveal where you're standing there at the lowest weight you've ever been in your entire life. That's not the end. That was the beginning of trying to figure out what real life was like. And the truth is that there are parts of the show that nobody got to see. And I started the show wanting to get healthy with all of my heart. I didn't even really think about what I wanted to weigh. I just wanted to be healthy. I wanted to be a mom. And somewhere along the line, the show really just started to get to me. You can't be on a show where the main goal is to lose as much weight as you can in 1 year, as fast as you can, and not have it be really healthy. Because basically, health was never brought up during that year. Nobody said, how are you feeling? Is this too much exercise? Are you eating enough? Like, as long as I was producing the numbers, that's all that mattered. And there was pressure, because it was about the show being as extreme and amazing as possible. And I actually started to develop an eating disorder. I would wake up each day trying to eat as little as I could. And I would try to exercise as much as I could. And you can only do that for so long before it blows up in your face. And I was in this cycle of always feeling bad. And before the show, I wanted to be a mom, and I couldn't be a mom again because my hormones were messed up in one way at first, and now they were messed up in a completely new way from the over-exercising, under-eating. It was 1 year-long crash diet that resulted in me struggling. I still couldn't have the family I wanted, and basically I started the yo-yo. I lost muscle. I kept trying to exercise more, eat less. It wasn't working. I was panicked. I was frustrated. I felt like a failure. And I didn't know what to do because I kept gaining. And I had all these food issues. And so I got a call from Brad Harrington, Chief Marketing Officer. I hope you guys know him. He is one of my favorites. If you don't, you should. And he asked me to be a part of the Shaklee 180 DVD. He knew that I was wanting to do the Shaklee 180 plan. And basically, I tried with all my might to get him not to want me. Because when he called, I was like, well, Brad, you know, I've been struggling through an eating disorder, and I've gained more weight. And he said, Jacqui, I know, it's okay. We want you to be healthy. And I said, well, you know, I've had other issues, and I don't know how light I'm going to get. I'm not sure what my new goal weight is. I'm not sure I'm going to be exactly what I was before. And he's like, Jacqui, we want you to follow the plan and be healthy. He's like, we want progress, not perfection. And I couldn't believe that the marketing officer, after everything that I dealt with producers and television, and it was results, and they don't care about you or your health, and like the Shaklee experience was so different. And I was like, okay, well, he's not running from me. I wanted him to run, and he didn't run. And he thought that I had a perspective to share. And so at the end of that conversation, Brad said something to me that I don't think he ever could have known would change my life. But he had heard what I'd gone through, and he knew what I'd struggled with. And he said, I know that in filming, you've been through all this filming, I want you to do everything in your power not to starve yourself for like the next 7 days because you're filming a DVD. And for the first time in a long time, somebody who could have benefited from me losing weight as fast as possible gave me permission to nourish my body. And that was huge. I can't even talk about that story without feeling emotional, and so I'm a Brad Harrington super fan. But it's true that like it was such a different thing, and how did he know that that was what I was feeling? Because that's what I was taught. If you're gonna film, you starve yourself. And so then Brad Harrington introduced me to Harley Pasternak, and I was so excited. He's a celebrity trainer. I know that he was going to know everything I needed to do with my body, and it was probably going to be crazy intense, but I was used to that. I've done hours and hours and hours of exercise per day, so I could handle whatever he threw at me, and I was ready to talk to him. And our first conversation shocked me, because everything that Harley just told you, that's what our talk was like. He was like, Jacqui, you're doing too much exercise. The over-exercising is actually going to be counterproductive. I want you to be active. I want you to walk 10,000 steps a day. I want to make sure that you're living a more active lifestyle in general. I don't want you to be a gym rat. I want you to be doing the things that you want to do, gardening and going out with your friends and doing things, just not sitting so much. We sit too much, but we don't have to be cardio crazy. In fact, it's not good for us. And he's like, and I want you to lift some weights for 15, 20 minutes a couple times a week. And I was like, are you sure? Is this like Jackie's special program? This is not what you do with your celebrities. And he assured me, no, this is what you do. So Brad gave me permission to nourish my body. And then Harley gave me permission to exercise less. And I just couldn't believe it could be that simple. Because after you've been through these two extremes, you lie to yourself a lot. You tell yourself that your body's broken. You have to do things this way, else it won't work. Have you told yourself before you're too old, or you're too tired, or you're too busy, so I just told myself those lies. And I was like, but I'm at a place where I stood on the scale again for the first time. I had been avoiding it. And the number I saw was 238 pounds. And I looked at it and I realized in 12 more pounds, I'll be closer to 300 again than I would to 200. Then I worked so hard, and I was still working hard all the time, but it wasn't working. It was this horrible, vicious cycle. And I couldn't let it go on, because now that I'm standing here today, what if I hadn't had that talk with Brad? What if I never had that talk with Harley? What if I never had nutritional talks with Dr. Jamie? What if Shaklee had not become a part of my life? I would have just kept struggling and struggling and struggling. And when I think about where I could have been, it terrifies me, because my biggest fear was to go back to where I was, trapped. And I really believe if all those things hadn't been put into action, I would have kept going down the same road, and I would have been in exactly where I started. So I started my 180. I finally committed to it. And I even in the beginning wasn't positive it was going to work for me. And I did everything that I needed to do. And it was small changes. And I couldn't believe that you could feel so good while you were losing weight. I was doing my 10,000 steps a day. I was being more active. I was enjoying life. And I felt like there had to be more suffering involved, because that's what I thought you do. And so I was like, why do I feel this good? And I'm still losing pounds on the scale every single week. And my 180 didn't happen overnight. I didn't change overnight, but the results were incredible, because I started the day after Christmas at 238 pounds, and I'm standing on the stage right now, about 7 months later, 168 pounds. Thank you. And I didn't beat my body into submission this time, like on TV. I loved myself healthier. And so it was a completely different experience. These pounds weren't like this misery. And so I'm a work in progress. I still want to get healthier and stronger, and I have bigger things to come, but the results are undeniable. Shaklee is different than anyone I've ever worked with. Shaklee has so much passion. Laura Evans has passion. Dr. Jamie, Brad Harrington, Roger and Sloan, they are passionate people. Every single person I meet here, you have passion. Your passion is for people, and your passion is for health. And we're all on different teams, but do you know how many emails and Facebooks and phone calls of support and love and encouragement when they heard that I had struggled and I was getting back, and that you all inspired me so much every day? Shaklee has incredible tools. They have incredible products that I know for a fact work. But Shaklee has changed my life. The Shaklee effect has changed my life. And the true Shaklee effect is you. Thank you.